Good. Okay. Thank you. We we almost know the view of Mahamudra. Mhm. Good things. After these seven ways of introducing view, then we would not have any problem of understanding. And that helps our meditation. So sometimes get hard, but how about you? Okay, it's on. Okay. Okay, if maybe we can start with questions if you have, because sometimes after a while come up thoughts and then we can discuss a little bit and then go through these texts. Any? Online, I think last we didn't finish our questions, so we see. Maybe not, that's good. Yes, it's on.
In verse 3,
Mm-hmm.
when it says, likewise, when mind looks at mind, thoughts will cease, and you see the nature of mind. Is that practice mind looking at mind? That's not Mahamudra, or is
Mm-hmm.
it leads to the experience of Mahamudra?
Yes, here sometimes when we say mind look at mind, means too many minds. Yeah, we have Buddha mind, kind of. So that's a really interesting one. And usually in what really mind is, yeah, the mind is really term that Tibetan use sem, and most of the time translate as mind. Sem, sem. Uh-huh. And Changchup Simpa, the Bodhisattva, who has a brave mind, means. Okay. Yeah, if you want to help others to alleviate their suffering and scoop out the whole samsara, that's a brave mind. And that's why it's called Bodhisattva, means the Bodhi, one who has the brave mind that want to set beings on enlightenment. Or so mind. Sometimes I would say that looking at mind means looking at mind nature. So mainly it's talking about mind nature. In the Mahamudra, sometimes we use as ordinary mind. Ordinary mind is more, means not ordinary, but it means very basic of our mind. And so then we have only one mind, which means when we look at our mind nature, of course, our mind is looking at our mind nature. In the Dzogchen's called Rigpa, but Mahamudra, whether we call wisdom or the mind, that's looking at the mind. So here, verse 3, we have this, when mind looks at the mind. And this is also very important because once we have only one mind, yeah? What do you think? One mind. One mind. Because one person has one mind. We always treat ourselves as one. We never treat as two. So treat the same mind as only one. Maybe different time has different moods, different energies, different thinkings, but mainly the basic one is the same. And if we have only one mind, that's looking outwardly, it's a dualistic mind. Looking inwardly, non-dual. So here, looking inwardly, non-dual mind, looking at non-dual, which means there is no subject-object duality. When this time, the Mahamudra tradition, looking at our mind means looking our this mind nature, looking at our mind nature. So there is no subject and object. Subject is mind, object is mind. So cannot really take action. In order to act, have sort of subject-object duality. What is the acting? And this is all about, or this is one singularity, that there is no objects. There is no object means there is no subject. So mind is really not looking at the mind. Because there is no mind, yeah. If we look at verse 2, when you relax in unaltered, what does unaltered mean? Looking is altering. Now I want to go a little bit deeper, okay? Looking is action. Altering. What does altering mean? Changing. To distorting. Looking. There's once upon a time, my unfinished dissertation title was Seeing Without Looking. So looking is what we can use that, but it's still action. It's altering something. Looking inwardly or outwardly doesn't matter. It's something. here is importantly need to relax. Yeah. The Tibetan word here, relax, is lut. Lut. It's relax, could be relax or could be rest or could be settled. It's anything that uncontrived way if you can relax. And meditation that. So this meditation is not really contrived way of looking at, but it's if we can rest in a nature state, is that core mind looks at the mind. Do you remember sometimes the logic is mind really cannot look at mind? There's two examples. The lamb or the sword, no matter how sharp it is, cannot cut itself. Or the battered lamp is just cannot illuminate itself. Illuminate means you need a darkness to illuminate something here. So if there is no darkness, how can it illuminate itself? So think about that. Our mind has, we think it has function, but in reality cannot have that function. It's contradiction. Yeah. So relaxing or the looking at mind or mind look as mind, these are used, these terms to describe how we can meditate. But if we try hard, then it's altering or distorting nature. It's not a natural way of settling. So natural way of settling is important. Okay. Any thoughts? Here. Oh yeah, that's good. No. Oh, no. Oh, okay. Okay, good. So we need to learn how to natural way to rest or settled, or how to look at our mind by our mind itself. I think you probably need that one.
I just woke up from a little nap, so I have this question about dullness. And I think maybe for some of us, there's this doubt whether, if I'm settling in the state of non-thought or if I'm resting the mind, is it dullness or is it a more luminous, productive space of Mahamudra? So can you say more about how to work with maybe a state that seems like resting, but is actually a dullness or like maybe more subtle state of conceptuality?
Mm-hmm. So you mean when you meditate in Mahamudra, what you are wondering is there's no clarity in it, or?
Yeah, sometimes the doubt arises whether this state is full of clarity or is it just dullness?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's why we need they emphasize clarity in a meditation, but clarity doesn't mean you have distinguishing things. And Patrul Rinpoche even say when you meditate, you should have clarity, but should not think whether I'm clear. My meditation is clear enough, or I'm recognizing a clarity or not. This is doubt. Yeah, doubt is enemy of meditation. If you have a doubt in meditating, then it's not settling. However, there is clarity because of these now the dualistic concepts are collapsed. But I often said that this is not experience. Once you experience means you're experiencing something. That changes. You cannot repeat experience. Like a dream, we cannot repeat. Even taste of food, every time it's different. We cannot repeat. Experience cannot repeat. We need want to realization that every single time should be occur exactly what appeared before. That's called realization. And Mahamudra tradition, it's saying that not seeing is the best seeing. If see something you can experience or you can explain, then it's not really Mahamudra. Because at the very beginning, Tilopa say, there's no way to introduce Mahamudra. Experience we can talk about, but Mahamudra we cannot really show, except only these examples. Yeah? The clarity is important, but that's only rise through the realization. But once we put in a concept, then it's a little bit difficult to see whether it's clear enough or not. Is probably not an obstacle to us when we really meditate. But not seeing is probably better than seeing something. The actual meditation, it says the moment you recognize the Rigpa mind nature, the moment there's no experience. But only you can, how to say, remember, or you can judge, or you can talk about after the meditation. You would not lose the confidence in there, because that's realization. So that's the difference between realization and experience. So Dzogchen wants to introduce this realization right away. But Mahamudra wants to rise this realization through devotion and practice. The result would be the same, but how to introduce this realization would be a little bit different. And don't forget, that is our Buddha nature and our mind nature, which is full realized Buddha. Our mind mind nature is Buddha. So that's why we try to recognize or understand or realize that part. And those are important questions. Thank you. And any more? No? Okay.
And can I make the question that before
Yes.
lunch? No, just to understand a little bit. The Nagarjuna talks about the merits, for example, of every sign of the Buddha, the Nirmanakaya,
Mm-hmm.
and also in the Prajnaparamita Sutras. There's a chapter in the 25,000 verses when the Buddha talk about the causes of the signs of the Buddha.
Mm-hmm.
So then within this, when you were clarifying that the Galupa, they don't accept so that the Buddhahood is caused. Maybe they were talking about the causation for the Nirmanakaya, the Supreme Nirmanakaya, or instead of talking about the inner Buddhahood.
You mean Mahamudra are now describing what this view is describing, or what do you mean?
No, about the causation, that even if the Buddhahood is not caused, my question is if there are causes for this Supreme Nirmanakaya, for the historical Buddha, so not every, look like you need certain causes to show the Buddha form for others. And my question is if that means cause for the Galupa maybe, or maybe it's something different.
The Buddhahood, maybe we will talk about the result when talk about the result. This is, I think maybe we can think about this as the sort of how to understand the reality because when we talk about fruit or Buddhahood, then somehow even there is no change, but still we need to think as a result of the practice, why we are doing practice. So there are the three Buddha kayas, Dharmakaya, Sambhogakaya, and Nirmanakaya. These kayas are inseparable. Until we attain the Dharmakaya, we cannot attain the other two kayas. And we chant these texts, it's very helpful. This morning we chant the short text. Says we need to, our thoughts are Dharmakaya. Our thoughts are Dharmakaya, which Dharmakaya contains both Sambhogakaya and Nirmanakaya. So there's no really separation on these three kayas when it becomes fruit. But now we are talking about more reality, the ground or that, and with view, so view is not the first initial understanding is very important. We are pretty much what we believe. And practice is even more. If we don't believe anything, we don't practice anything. We believe something, we practice based on that. And correct understanding is called correct view. Do you remember this Mahayana tradition, or even whole Buddhist tradition? There is what we call the eightfold path. What is the first one? Correct view. Yeah, the view is very important. If we don't have correct view, then we are not really would have correct meditation. So now we say Mahamudra is like space or sky. There's no ground support. And Mahamudra is like space. There is no obscurations. Mahamudra is like cloud in space. It doesn't come from anywhere. It doesn't go anywhere. It's just it's a simple way of thinking. We are not talking about these clouds coming from moist and then come up and down. It's just simple way of thinking. Cloud can participate in space without trace. So that, and then space has no karma or action or anything. There is no accumulation of merit or collection of the bad karmas, habitual tendencies, and so forth. So Mahamudra doesn't have that. And then verse 7 is our subcategory of view, that's sixth. And that is, again, the analogy of space. It shows this is beyond expression. Mahamudra is beyond expression, means we cannot just really describe Mahamudra. So Mahamudras only can introduce through these analogies. Mahamudra is like a space. Though space may be described as empty, space itself cannot be expressed in this way. Likewise, although mind's nature may be pointed out as luminous, there is no basis for labeling it through any such expression. We often use our mind's nature is emptiness, luminous, clarity, or so kind of. But those are sometimes we use based on the different aspects of our mind. And our mind itself is this term empty or emptiness or luminous are just what we have in our toolbox. Everyone probably know what does empty mean. Empty means nothing, yeah. Empty cup means there's nothing inside. Empty space, so empty. Empty voice. So be brave to think everything's empty. Sometimes people worry that everything's empty. Why? What gonna happen? That's our worry. Yeah? We are rely on too much on existing things. That's why Buddha's teaching. First, we need to tackle down these existing things. We are attached to existing things. So if we, even a moment, we can think about nothing exists. It's quite relaxing, yeah. So the thinking of existing things is automatic. We are born with. We don't need to worry about that. Most people, or even teachers, just this empty and existing balancing. We don't really need to balance. We really need to focus on, bravely need to think everything's empty. Every sadhana start with Om Subhava Shuddha Sarva Dharma Subhava Shuddhaham, yeah? if you have experience of sadhana practice. Tibetans often use as Shuddha as empty, but Sanskrit itself is pure. So pure and empty are the similar thing. If there's nothing, then everything is pure. If there's something, probably not pure. That's called substance, yeah. And Svabhava Shuddha, Svabhava is nature, that's Shuddha, empty or the pure. This Sarvadharma, all phenomena, all dharmas are empty. So in order to bring deity form, start create mandala and so forth, first we need to empty out this stuff. We cannot build mandala on these impure phenomena. So that's why empty out everything. And then Sarvadharma Subhavashtaham, yeah. So everything's empty or pure, and then you can say there is no I, but then in the end it's say aham, which means I am. So I am, all dharmas are pure and empty, so does I am. So I am the essence of the, or Sarvadharma, or dharmas. Maybe that's too much Sanskrit in there, but that's important. You can see how practice become effective and powerful due to our way of we can treat outer and inner phenomena that doesn't exist. So there is empty and luminous. If everything's empty, but still our mind is has or is a cognized nature, at least we have this cognizing or aware of. We cannot really deny that nothing going to happen. Something happened, we are aware of, whether mistakenly or correctly. We only can tell there is something going on. Why? We can cognize. So we can use that to meditate. That's why mind looks at mind, or we can relax at the nature of mind. These are very important things. So this cognizing nature or awareness aspect is called luminous. It's not luminous, not like light. So we don't have much term to use how to describe our mind. This have a cognized ability or aware of how we can describe our mind nature as empty yet, but it have a cognized nature. So that's called luminous, yeah? So these are the six that introducing, whether if you want to say Mahamudra as something else, describing the nature, or the Mahamudra as our own mind nature. So our own mind nature is like a space, a sun, a cloud, or the nature itself, no matter what. Sun shine through space. Often use this metaphor of the space and the luminous aspect, these two empty and luminous aspects, that's sun and space. Sun shines through space, so emptiness is pervaded by the wisdom. So the union of wisdom and emptiness is the core Buddhist view on the reality, and it is sometimes we can call Dharmakaya, or even Sambhogakaya. Sometimes we use Dharmakaya as a space, Sambhogakaya as sun shining through the light, and then maybe due to that heat or warmness, then clouds form through moist, that's called Nirmanakaya, and the Nirmanakaya could benefit sentient beings through rains and so forth. So that those are metaphors. Okay, don't take as something really happening. Nothing happening. Never happened. So should not happen anything. Okay. So, what is seventh? Seventh, we have these, mainly summarize these 6 subcategories of the first part. Is maybe not that one. Not that. I think you are using Garchen Rinpoche one. It should be Lord's Our House one's better. So we have now verse 8. Yeah? Verse 8 is, thus the nature of mind is like space. There is no phenomena not included in it. So what we say, Mahamudra is nature of our mind, and which is like a space. Space means there's nothing exists, nothing happening, never happened. However, it's all phenomena are subsumed in this our mind nature. So we don't need to search or seek things from outside. So everything already endowed with our mind nature. That's called Buddha nature, yeah. So this Buddha nature is our mind nature, and all the qualities are already perfected. That's why our meditation is only looking at our mind, not searching our mind, or not creating anything, not developing anything. It's just looking at our mind. That's as important.
How are these terms of awareness and consciousness related to mind? Are they different? Are they the same thing?
Yeah. In India tradition, we have a lot of terms for mind. There is, of course, 8 consciousness. That is the main consciousness. And then we have 52 sort of mental factors that has different terms for that. And then we have mainly a synonym or equivalent to the mind. We have Tibetan, we have Sim, Namhi, Yi, and Xiepa, and Lo. So these are usually treated as equivalent. So the translation in English, of course, people want to choose, and sometimes difficult to find the equivalent in English. I think mind is often translated, no, Sim is always translated as mind. Xiepa is conscious, translated as consciousness. And Xiepa, consciousness or awareness. Namhi is always, consciousness. And Yi is, there is not really good translation, but maybe meditation sometimes. Is that English? Intellect is Lo. Yeah. Meditation is English? Yeah. A word, okay. Because it's Sanskrit manas, coming from manas. And then we have Lo, which is intellect. And then we have Rigpa, which is awareness. So these are pretty much treated synonymously, but they have different functions when we talk about. And then we have consciousness, eye consciousness, air consciousness, nose consciousness, and body consciousness, and mind consciousness, separate 8 consciousness, these consciousness. So it's really a little bit become complicated, and then it's meant to be a Buddha should not have consciousness. Consciousness is, or mind, is a dualistic thing, concept. And we have used whether wisdom, yishi, or primordial so this, the yishi and hirap, so these two are mainly used. So yishi is, people translate differently. It's primordial knowing, that's just more literal meaning. And I sometimes translate just gnosis, that people don't like. And then people use wisdom, that is another problem, because we need to hear up as another term Tibetan that need to also translate in English to maybe use wisdom. So people use wisdom as hear up, and yishi as something else. Then comes to Dzogchen Rigpa, which is another term we need to use. Sometimes people use intrinsic awareness or primordial awareness, or that's Rigpa. So there is some differences, that what we have dualistic mind and the Buddha has non-dual awareness. So we can say Buddha mind, but it's a little bit what to say. And especially comes to Dzogchen, then mind is samsara. so mind is samsara, then Buddha would not have samsara. Yeah. That's, then we have another issue that when we become a Buddha, should have appearance or not. That's big debate. Gelubas think we should have. Numa and Kaju think we should not have. Yeah. Appearance, yeah. Should Buddha see things? If there's nothing, how can he see? Yeah. So this is a big debate. I had someone ask me question this issue, related issue. Maybe we can talk a little bit about what you think. Because when become a Buddha, that's the whole purpose of becoming a Buddha is benefiting others. That's why our practices for benefiting others, that's why we become a brave-minded heroines or heroes that want really help others. And in order to become really helpful or powerful, then need to become a Buddha. Once we become a Buddha, how Buddha acts towards sentient beings. Buddha is a person, or Buddha has attention, or Buddha has a mind, or Buddha has so seems none of them really Buddha has. Intention is probably not, because intended means you have plan and you have focus and you have something that so Buddha has no intention, no favoritism, and so that's why it's maybe tension is not there. So mind, we already discussed that mind is dualistic things. Buddha should not have that. Even appearances, Buddha would not could kind of see sentient beings, because there's no sentient beings. If that's the case, then how the act of Buddha come? But even Mahayanas already accepted that Buddha is not a person. Personhood means I, ego, yeah? That collapsed long before I become Buddha, and Buddha is not a person, individual person. And the benefit is not coming from out there, maybe coming from ourself, that ripening our karma or purifying our negative. That reveals the power of our nature, rather than Buddha is intentionally appear to us to help. But those have a big debate in the Tibetan tradition. So, if you have time, you can think about that. Yeah. You have a question? Okay. So those are good things to think about. So probably Buddha is like a tree, so would not have intention. So Buddha don't care whether we are Buddhist or not. So that's the other thing. So we talked too much about this, I guess, but I had a question before, so I wanted to discuss a little bit about that. So what is Buddha and how we can to the Buddha and how Buddha benefits us is much more our karma than how the Buddha can help us. And these seven are what we call view. So up until here, according to this outline, based on this particular version, this is called view. What does view mean? Why view first come to this teaching? So view means understanding. So 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 so
Hello out there in the shrine room. We are
so
stuck in
so
some sort of
so
weird loop.
so 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 so
Now, okay, there we go.
Oh, good. Can you hear me now?
Yes, yes, thank you very much.
Okay. So we are just talking about this our mind. If they didn't hear me, it should not hear. Yeah.
Nothing to
Yeah.
hear, nothing to hear.
Okay, good. So it's at the same time, same thing that if we really want to talk about the Mahamudra directly without analogy, we're not really talking about Mahamudra. Even we think we are talking, because our mind cannot Our mind is not capable of imagining or fully describe what Mahamudra is. We just have this mini Mahamudra in our mind to describing that what we have in our brain or our thoughts. So it's not that helpful to say directly to say Mahamudra either. It's example is a little bit better, but space, okay, space. So it's kind of helpful. Any question on a view? That's core view. Whether we any words that yes.
Kenpala, this is a question about view.
Yeah.
You started by saying the sense of view in the Eightfold Path that you were citing, right view.
Yeah.
I think you described it earlier as a kind of something like a belief, a way of understanding things, a belief or a way of understanding things. And my previous understanding of view of that term sometimes had been as in, for instance, the view of the ground, and this might be in a different, correctly ascertaining the nature of reality in a way that seems much more non-conceptual than the sense of view as in right view of a belief, a correct belief, an unmistaken belief about things. So these seem distinct. And my question is, I guess, are those two uses of the term view distinct, and are they related in some way? View as unmistaken belief or right way of understanding, right view, and view in the more view and ground sense of correctly ascertaining reality.
Yeah. Thank you. This framework of real meditation conduct, that's really what we can do in a Buddhist practice. That's called path. Four Noble Truths is the last one's path, yeah. So the path means the practice what we can do. We can believe in something, and then we keep doing that belief. That's called meditation. And at the same time, the body cannot really meditate, but the body as much as kind of conducive to that belief and that whatever mentally sort of nourishing that view. So mainly we can do that. Yeah, that's called real meditation conduct. So that implies every level of Buddhist teachings. And also we can see what we have, 10 non-virtues. 10 non-virtues is the last one's view. So this view is more if you don't believe karma, if you don't believe next life, if you don't believe something, that is 10 non-virtues. One of 10 non-virtues. So that's a really basic Buddhist view that if you don't believe three jewels and cause and karmic connections and so forth, that is wrong view in Buddhist concept. that is bad karma. That is non-virtue. This is implies to everyone. And then if we go up, then we have eightfold path. The view, correct view is important. How much we can put, whether we can put viewing that whole samsara is suffering and impermanent, or go beyond, say everything's empty, or go beyond that everything's union of emptiness and appearance. So those are related to the reality with what you are thinking. So each time is a little bit going deeper and deeper, and then what you are saying, the ground. So ground mainly describe as this union of emptiness and clarity, or the Mahamudra itself can be treated as a ground. So in order to ascertain correct way of the reality, or the way of correct understanding of the ground or the reality, that is the view in Mahamudra and both Dzogchen. So here we can see, didn't really talk about the ground, but it's talking about the emptiness and luminous union of that is equivalent to the ground, and understanding of that is understand correctly is Mahamudra view. Yeah, we are in Mahamudra view. Okay, we maybe chant one more. That
One more?
Yeah,
Oh,
Tosho?
please, I want to ask a question. Um, and the bliss where in the view or in the no experience is very much, very fit. Bliss, so at the level in the teaching of the Mahamudra of Tantra, they talk about first the Mahamudra like a inseparable bliss and emptiness, and then the view of the purity only, or the ground is call it the so it's simply the view, and then it's not, they talk about innate bliss at that level. So then my question is, in the view, where is the place? You have not talked about that. So if
View is coming from our individual's belief. That's why in the Buddhist teachings, they're more concerned about wrong view. So that's why always comes out with, we need the right view. And the ground itself means the reality itself, the nature, or the reality itself. So nothing to do with us. We cannot change the ground. But we could have wrong view. We can have mistaken view. We have good view. We have bad view. We have lower view and higher view, or we have authentic view. We have non-authentic view. So view is very important. Without view, our meditation would be not helpful for us to cross samsara. So do you remember this has, if melody is a little bit different, what I chant, but of course, if you cannot follow me, just slowly we can do that, yeah.
My question is, it was about
Or invoking
this.
the blessing of God lineage. Dorjin Chongchen Delo Naro Marba Mela Chuje Gambo Ba Tuzan Shija Gunjin Garman Ba Chije Chungji Juba Zinam Tangzhe Versam Barden Rupa So Salai Jaja Jilai Ngani Bi Nyame Rongong Tabo Gaju La Zorwan De Zor Gaju La Mana Juban Zino Namda Shinji Lo Shen Lo Gomji Gambare Zongba Jin Sinor Kun La Changshen Me Ba Dang Sende do da jubi unjan la nyen go shen ba me ba shen je lo mu gu kum je ngo ro song ba shin men a ya der go je be la ma la jun do zor wa de be gom chen la ju me mu gu je wa re shin je lo Ying me gomji ngoye zongbai xin yin kong shara dob ngo ya soman de ma chu de garan jo be gom chen la gom ya lo dan char wa xin ji lo nam do ngo ye chu ko re zongbai xin je yang ma yin je yang char wa la Manga Rurvan Charvi Gunjan La Grundi Yeme Dobare Shinji La Jewa Kunda Yanda La Mata Dharme Chuji Bala Langju Jen Sada Lamji Yaden Rabonde Dorjin Changi Kumbon Nyerdo show in English. Yeah.
Great Vajradhara, Tilopa and Naropa, Marpa, Milarepa, and Gampopa, Lord of Dharma, you who know all past, present, and future, the Karmapa, holders of the 4 earlier and 8 later lineages, Dirikang, Taglung, Salpa, and the glorious Drungpa and the rest, masters of the profound path of Mahamudra, unequaled protectors of beings, the Dakpo Kagyu. To all of you, the Kagyu Lamas, I pray, inspire me with your blessing to uphold this lineage and follow you to liberation. Revulsion for samsara is the feat of meditation, so it is taught. Free of craving and attachment to things like food and wealth, having severed the ties to this life, inspire this meditator with your blessing to be rid of addiction to possessions and fame. Devotion is the head of meditation, so it is taught. The Lama opens the door to the treasure of the pith instructions, praying constantly to him. Inspire this meditator with your blessing, so that uncontrived devotion is born within me. Non-distraction is the main body of meditation, so it is taught. Whatever arises in that very essence of thought, fresh, natural, unadulterated, leaving it just there. Inspire this meditator with your blessing, so my meditation is free from conceptual mind. The nature of thoughts is Dharmakaya, so it is taught. They are nothing whatsoever, yet appear as anything at all, arising as an unceasing display. Inspire this meditator with your blessing to realize that samsara and nirvana are not separate. In all my lives, may I never be separate from the perfect Lama, and so enjoy the splendor of Dharma, mastering completely the qualities of the path and stages. May I swiftly attain the sublime state of Vajradhara.
What do you think? Easy, yes. If you open your heart, everything's easy. So here, of course, English translation sometimes use this pronounce he, but Tibetan we don't have he. So if you sometimes, of course, people wondering he, Buddha he's not person. So individuality and he is unnecessary here if you can use a they or he and her or whatever one like you want to use. So the main part is these four, these three mainly. Revulsion. In order to meditate, we have to revulsion. If not, then we are not really, our meditation is meaningless, no purpose. And then we have devotion. Without devotion, headless meditation, which means then what purpose of doing meditation? And then actual meditation is not distraction or non-conceptual thinking. That's also another. So these three are related to the Mahamudra meditation. Every meditation can be, but earlier we talked about the realization of Mahamudra is arising from the devotion. Devotion is the head here. I think yesterday I say feet, but it's more head. And the revulsion, because all of the Dharma practice should be for longer goal rather than a shorter goal. So those are important if you meditate Mahamudra, if you are really want to meditate Mahamudra meditation, those are important. And I'm not sure myself, I got Ganges Mahamudra teachings from Gachin Rinpoche and others Mahamudra teachings, but seems don't really point out the mind that much. Anyone familiar with the only Mahamudra teaching that you got pointing out mind teaching? No? Oh, yes. Yeah. Oh, that's good. Yeah. So Mahamudra is good for good practitioners. If don't practice, Mahamudra is not for them, yeah? So it's good to have Mahamudra if you want to practice. But there's not really immediately introducing your mind nature to say, sit down like Dzogchen. I mean, my teachers are both Gaju and Nyingma, Mahamudra and Great Perfection, but more influenced by Dzogchen teaching to Gurjin and Garcia Rinpoche and others. So if just you want to sit down a little bit, open mouth is very important, yeah? Don't forget. If you forget open your mouth, then maybe you are forgetting something. People always want to meditate, but when it comes to meditation, then it's a little bit difficult. But unless
I think we're frozen again.
No, we're meditating.
yeah, we are frozen.
Oh, sorry. I went to the bathroom and came back.
It's probably more Dzogchen style, but since Mahamudra and Dzogchen are union, so whether we can get right away or through devotion, doesn't matter. If we got it, we got it, yeah. So up to you. So I'm just saying that only Mahamudra tradition itself, there is not that moment introducing mind nature, but slowly you can get. And my teachers are both Mahamudra and Dzogchen teachers, so I try to introduce many times. If you are new, I still need some just I can offer what you think what you need, but otherwise just sit, yeah, bravely, open eye, nothing bother you. Let things rise, liberate itself. So that's the important part. And then now we have great view. Nothing exists. Good thing is. And so now we have the second category in the main practice. What that is? Do you remember? Which one? Conduct. Conduct means when we are thinking about, we deeply analyzing and trying to understand the meaning, and finally we got it, the meaning. That's called view. So we need to believe in that, and then we could meditate on this understanding, not through only just conceptually thinking, but the meditation is directly accessing the nature. That's called meditation in a Dzogchen or Mahamudra. How to directly access our nature is through looking at our mind or relaxing in the nature or rest in the nature. So that's called meditation. So fortunately, we are in this circle of Gaju and Nyingma, so we can do this. Maybe other traditions, they don't introduce this in a way we are teaching. There's much more to learn, much more to practice, much more to do other things to maybe slowly understand, or even we need to think about Buddhahood is some sort of product of our practice. So fortunately, we have these teachings that come down from our teachers, so we can practice immediately. We don't need to wait, or we don't need to go around to circle around to get there. So then, usually that the Buddhist teachings comes with view, meditation, and conduct. These three comes step by step, because meditation is maintaining what we understand. View. What we are meditating on is what we are believing in, or what. So that's why it's very important to have correct understanding. If we think we are meditate on emptiness, but we think something else, then it's not. We are not meditating in emptiness. Same thing if we think, if we meditate in the Mahamudra, if we meditate on something else, then we are not meditating on Mahamudra. Belief itself is not necessarily help us. Correct understanding and ascertain that, then we can meditate on that. Yeah. Maybe sometimes saying too much is not good, but here sometimes Mahamudra practitioners criticized by others. Do you know what they would say? Or the great Satyabhendita is the most learned Satyabhas. He said the almost like most stupid people meditate Mahamudra. It's probably become a cause for becoming an animal. Yeah. If wanted to become a cat or cow, or there's a way of going that as well. So so he's telling us that be smart, not just be kind of dull, stupid. need to understand the view. If not, sometimes we think we are meditating on Mahamudra, but we are something. Then it's good to take rebirth in, and some our companions, that dogs and cats, we love them. Yeah. So now this verse 9, is conduct. What should our conduct be when we practice Mahamudra? And here's 3 lines. Early we talk about in Buddhist tradition, we are not only working on the mind, but we are also working on body and speech. So these 3 are very important. And here 3 lines. So first one is how should one conduct in physically, what we need to do. And then second one is the speech, and third one is mind, how we should do in practice Mahamudra, or even to practice Mahamudra means related to meditation. That for sure. I sometimes say too much. That's why Tibetans, we don't do meditation. We do practice. So maybe that's I'm kind of wrong. Could be. So the meditation comes Mahamudra meditation. Abandon all physical activities. Rest at ease. Be silent and let words be like an echo. Release your mind within its state, neither confining nor allowing it to roam. And this is very close to, or almost identical to, the Dzogchen practice. When Tukyu practice, we often say your body should be like a crop in cemetery, means you are dead, not limbs are not moving. It's totally motionless. And your speech is like broken string guitar, so it doesn't make any sound. And your mind is totally pure, like autumn space or sky. So these 3 shows that any activity, when you meditate, any activity interferes with the natural settling or natural resting, or resting in the nature. This short prayer, what it says, the main or the non-destruction is the main body of meditation. It's any kind of destruction, physically, verbally, mentally, it disrupts our mind nature. Yeah? I'm sure you want to sit forever, but we can stretch a little bit, maybe. Okay, we have a tea break and coffee as well. And 15 minutes. So we will resume 3:45? 3:45 Chicago time. Okay, thank you, everyone. So here is maybe most crucial point that how to meditate Mahamudra or Dzogchen. And people sometimes forget that doing things that doesn't interfere our natural setting or natural relaxing or natural resting. Milarepa says that Chakja Chenpo Kumdus Lunga Jikechurma Tsongchi Meto Yishiyanyeyo. So he says when you meditate Mahamudra, do we need to say meditate on Mahamudra or just meditate Mahamudra? English. Do Mahamudra meditation? When? When practice Mahamudra meditation or when do Mahamudra meditation?
I would say practice as Mahamudra in the being.
As Mahamudra. But somehow we need to use a verb or? I need to when. When? When practicing Mahamudra? Not practicing, it's meditation we have. Gum dus. Gum. Your English doesn't work?
When you add ing at the end of, make it a verb.
Like when doing Mahamudra meditation.
Okay. Yeah, when doing Mahamudra meditation, Chakja Chenpo Gum Dusu, Lunga Ge Gejur Ma Tsunji, one should not put efforts or interfere with the bodies, the virtue of bodies and speech, or accumulation of body, speech, and speech and mind. So speech and mind interferes the Mahamudra meditation. Mito yishi yarnyeyo. If you do that, then the non-conceptual wisdom will disappear. So it's very important. Meditation is all about methods, yeah? Methods. And silence and any physical activities. And usually in the Dzogchen tradition, we have 9 activities that need to abandon 9 activities. 9 activities means bodily, physically, you can do sort of virtuous things, prostration. You did in a lot in Nyungne practice. Usually we do in preliminary practice and circumambulations and so forth. That's a good thing. And bad things, sometimes we don't know, but there's a lot of bad things can do. Still, yeah, I need to look at someone. And then between means not really virtue, non-virtue thing. These three are body, and then mind is same. The mind, we could do generate bodhicitta, generate faith and a devotion in our lineage or deity or guru. Or bad things we can think of, want to kill a neighbor's cat or something. So that kind of bad thing, and then so thing, just normally people think many are so thing. These three, now 6, and speech also we can recite mantras, and others we can praising Buddha, Dharma, Sangha, and so forth, virtuous things. And then non-virtuous things, scolding your own kids or something, I don't know. So these kind of thing, and then between. So these 9 activities need to set aside when you meditate. So meditation is always good, yeah? It's relaxing, kind of, people talk about. So these are necessary. I said the usually view, meditation, and conduct comes, but here is right after view is conduct. It also makes sense, yeah. Right before you meditate, you need to, what do you need to do? You need to do abandoning all the activities that what we have. And so the view is clear, that like space. And then the conduct or the activities while meditating or before meditating, we need to settle that part. So now, giving up all these activities to rest a little bit, and then we can go through the meditation. Yeah? And the meditation itself is always more repetition. Repetition is the most meditation in Mahamudra and the Great Perfection. If you do just shamatha, you can hold same objects in your mental image, focusing on one object as long as you can. That we can do that because conceptually we can train our mind in that way. But this is not really training, it's a settling in the nature, so it doesn't last that long. We need to repeatedly settle back or rest back, or sometimes even kind of let it be rather than focusing on something. That is meditation. That is the meditation with this conduct. So the third one is meditation itself. It's a Mahamudra meditation. And if you are familiar with Mahamudra meditation already, or great perfection, most of people in America, I think, have both exposure of Mahamudra and great perfection, and should know how to meditate, or should know how to look at mind nature. If we don't know how to look at our mind nature, which means then there's no way to meditate, either Mahamudra or the great perfection. This is really important. And here, the meditation, first seems there is two key points. First, we have a key point of the body, and then key point of the mind. So the first two lines we can see, the body has no essence, just like a hollow bamboo reed. That is the key point of body, or the key point of understanding our body. Because we have two things there, that body and mind. So body is a hollow bamboo reed, means there is no core. We sometimes use as how to understand our body is empty or as empty through thinking about there's no core essence in our body. Usually bamboo or the banana trees, there's no essence. Yeah, it's hollow. And this hollow body, we grasp it as body to then we have the mind-body combination we call a person. So person is mainly this combining body and mind. And both Mahamudra and the Dzogchen tradition, body is, we know when we die, body needs to leave behind. So seems less important than mind, body. Yeah, that's for sure. Body we need to give up, no matter what and what we do. And seems aging is good things to have, and taken care of naturally. And then death is ultimate thing that will take care of us and separate mind from body. So when we say who we are or what we are, then we pointing more on the mind. Mind is maybe the core of us. Even thinking that this mind is where this mind coming from, where this mind goes, or where this mind abides now. So these are in Dzogchen tradition, we have Chung Ne Drosum, where it's coming from, where it's going, and where it abides. So there is no way to trace where our mind is coming from and where it's going, but even this moment is a little bit different than maybe mindfulness meditation. We are not trying to find the moment, the right moment, current moment. there is no current moment because this current moment is so fast and too short to happen anything. There's nothing can happen in millisecond, yeah. Even less than that maybe. So nothing happening. We sort of know now there's no mind either. So we are nobody and we are nothing. A mind like open space transcends the realm of thoughts. Usually thoughts are, we think, either thoughts are mind or thoughts are coming from mind. So this either way is like space. So understanding our body and our mind are not there, never exist before. And that is the main understanding of the general Buddhist teaching and also crucial understanding of the Mahamudra. If we don't understanding these sort of deeply, then we are caught in some clingings, attached to or clingings on that. So that's why first in the meditation we need to know these two kind of crucial points of the meditation. And then release your mind within this state, neither confining nor allowing it to roam means then just let it go, let it go. The meditation is not holding back. Or abandoning, or sometimes in the Tibet we have this bang lang. Bang means abandoning or discarding. Lang means adopting or taking in. So whatever involves these two actions, it takes effort. So either you're discarding something or adopting something or taking in or the pushing out or the discarding. These both involves. And then what we need to do, mind, we thought our focal point is Mahamudra. This focal point is the Tibetan term here is called usually here is called, you sometimes called Migpa, but here is called Deso. Deso is focal point. What does that really mean? The usually meditation we have when we learn or practice shamatha, we can learn there's sort of focal object or objects that we can focus, and then our mind is going to bring back to that one single object to focus on one object. So objects is sort of that focal point. And here, when we meditate Mahamudra, we are not focusing on anything. If we focus on something, then that is the concept, yeah. By habituating yourself to these, you will attain the supreme awakening. And meditation is also in the Tibetan use here, habituating. Habituating or to habituate is a little bit different than meditation. Since the meditation is much more has focus. Even in English, then you can see very clear that meditate on deity, meditate on something, meditate on impermanent, and so forth. Even English language has this dualistic concept already involved, that subject-object duality on something. But Tibetan, we don't need to say that, but even the meditation itself is Tibetans see as problematic, especially Mahamudra and Dzogchen. It's more habituating rather than meditating on something. It's not really cultivating that new things bring in, rather than you are settled into habituating. Still, maybe it doesn't make sense here. It's a lot of words, but
You're a great example of
which one?
You're a great example of what you're saying. I mean, I see that you do it. You habituate. What did you say?
Okay. Thank you. So this habituation, Tibetans sometimes say the meditation is not a meditation. When meditation is become established or accomplished, the meditation is not meditation. Meditation is habituation. Habituation is actualized. That is meditation. Yeah. When we always think, what is meditation? Meditation is the core Buddhist practice. But it's saying meditation is not really meditation, it's habituation. When you really accomplish habituation, that is meditation. That's the real meditation. And that is a very important part of our practice. And especially this Mahamudra and Dzogchen practice, the repetition is very important. That's why we have this meditation. Questions? Online? Yeah. Come here.
Just reflecting a little bit more on conceptual proliferation during the meditation.
Yes.
Can you say more about the thoughts arising themselves not being a distraction to meditation, or abiding in non-distraction while the thoughts are arising? Is that a proper way of seeing things?
Can you say one more? Sorry.
So, yeah, just while being in the meditation of Mahamudra, how do we relate to thoughts when they are arising? And
yeah, do you remember, according to Garchen Rinpoche and others, that the Mahamudra meditation, it's best to have no concept, but still you can practice and count as Mahamudra while you are cooking, driving, gardening, walking, sitting, if you don't lose the mindfulness. So which means that, of course, thoughts arise and thoughts are disrupt, but if you can turn a direction that thoughts are not that obstacle to not necessarily meditating all the time, but it's mindfulness that brings back any activity to sort of, you can utilize that to as a practice. That's count as Mahamudra. Meditation, as meditation or practice. So it's, of course, we cannot turn off the thoughts, that for sure, except maybe millisecond. We can do that through this method of looking at our bag of head, but that's the moment you can turn off. But most of the time, what you are doing is better to have mindfulness practice. Here, mindfulness means you need to control yourself. And that's the thoughts become less and less destructive to the meditation. But it's, that meditation or the mindfulness doesn't really eliminate the proliferation of the thoughts. So we need to recognize that thought. Then finally, maybe Mahamudra, if you have tremendous devotion and hardship practice, maybe realization one day dawn, and or the proliferation of thoughts that disappear, and that's good part, yeah, that's the good part. Yeah, that's how Mahamudra is somehow is much more beneficial to practice on a daily basis. But final stage we need to get to this non-thought, non-concept meditation. That is both goal of Mahamudra and Dzogchen. Here is much more talking about the last sort of teachings to Tilopa, to Naropa. It's really advanced teaching. That's why this is Ganges Mahamudra is the Mahamudra, and it doesn't really talk about much about other stuff except the actual Mahamudra. But still, you can see it maybe not. There's not really pointing out instruction, not given to directly to the students.
Could I ask a question?
Yes.
Yes, I was wondering whether this is really meant to come after practices like Tumo, inner heat yoga, which presumably Naropa would have done before he was introduced by Tilopa. And also, the hollow bamboo reed, isn't that implying illusory body in the mind like open space, clear light yoga? So not these kind of 6 yogas in here as well, kind of implied, or...
It's definitely, so all the practice that done before Mahamudra is called Tablam Naro Chudo. The path, the methods path or path of method path, how to say path? Methods, there is the liberation path and there's a method path. So method path is called 6 yogas of Naropa. That's all methods to what? The method to realize the Mahamudra. The Mahamudra is called path of liberation, or liberation path. Can say liberation path? Path of liberation. Path of liberation. And path of liberation is arise due to this all practice. And you are right that Naropa already done all these 6 yogas of Naropa and so forth. That's however, in these later will come in these texts. According to these, the Zhanlong practice is not for the Ken faculty practitioners. So middlings that who really don't get the Mahamudra actual teaching first should done sort of 6 yogas of Naropa and then slowly maybe get to the Mahamudra actual practice, but not for the Ken faculty who maybe immediately get the Mahamudra, doesn't really need to do Zhalong and so forth. So that will come. That's a category will come. Okay, that's just a meditation. Yes.
That's just a very quick question.
Yes.
Do I need to?
Yes, we need that.
So I'm very curious, as you're speaking about this being such a concise practice, Naropa was with Tilopa as a very devoted student for a long time before he received this. How long was he with Tilopa before this teaching was given to him?
This is after his all hardships and all those. This seems very final teaching. So which means this is the last teaching. Could be. It didn't really say what age or this.
Like 20 years, or like I don't really know how long that they were together.
Yeah, that's I don't know either. Yes.
All right.
Yeah. Do you know? Not really lifetime, because Naropa was become an abbot of Nalanda and also Vishkamalashila, and he must be, when he met Tilopa, he must be 40s, 50s, could be.
like previous lifetimes.
Oh, yeah, that's also, but even in this lifetime meeting, he needs to do this really practice that hardship or something, 12 hardships, that then finally he got slipped by Tilopa's hand, sandal. I don't know what is that, would be wood or they were leather or I don't know, but very hard one to get. Could be fish. So either way, that's our understanding. And then we often use this. The fourth one is the main practice is samaya. What does samaya mean? Samaya is a Sanskrit word. Tibetan translated tamtsik. either tamsik is the tight word, or sometimes use, if you hold these, you will get cities. If you lose it, you will burn. You will be burned. So that's called tamsik. Yeah, tam means the tight, and sik is a word, but also used as a burn. So that's why tamsik is a very serious thing. It's tamsik only talks about an tantric samaya. In the sutras, we don't have samayas. We have vows, bodhisattva vows, and kind of Vinaya vows, we call vows, and that is different. It's called domba. Domba and tamsik are different. The domba is kind of rule that you need to follow, but tamsik is a serious thing. You will be burned. Yeah? So this is the fourth. Proponent of the secret mantras and the paramita vehicles, the Vinaya and other scriptures authorities will not reveal the luminosity of the Mahamudra by expounding on their texts and the philosophical tradition. We know that there is a lot of practice in it, in the Buddhist tradition. And Mahamudra is only realized through Mahamudra teaching. It cannot just realize through general tantras, and the secret mantra means tantra, paramita means sutra, these vehicles. And then we have Vinaya and other scriptural authorities, which means called agamas, that teachings, authoritative teachings, will not reveal the luminosity of Mahamudra. So general vipassana and shamatha will not reveal the Mahamudra. If you have done lifelong shamatha, it may not help.
But does it help calm a little bit so that you can open up that or not? Shamatha to like just to calm, abide.
Yes, maybe, but sometimes calm is, our habits is sometimes more difficult, I think. Because habits, once it's become habits, it's very difficult to change. That we know from drinking coffee, yeah? Yeah, it's hard because then if it really comes a higher view, then it's called whether white cloud or black cloud, it doesn't matter, can block the sun. And also iron Qing or golden Qing, it doesn't matter, it can bound us. Somehow we need to go beyond concepts. The concept, bad concept is bad, but good concept is sometimes is very very strong to bond, because we believe in that is a good thing. Yeah. Especially, I think, the culture and social norms that we believe, and it's a little bit difficult. For example, in the West, we need to call personal names to say, but in the East, most people call through titles, and these two are kind of clashing each other, and so forth. So the cultural norms are, we know, arbitrary, but it's still very strongly implanted in our system. So it's a little bit difficult to give up those. And I don't want to go through constitutions and those things, but that is another thing, another level. And in the West, we say this justice must be justice, and but not revenge. Justice is a type of revenge. We know that. So that we accept one part, but we don't accept one part. So that's what we do. Every culture have that, yeah. So that's the good thing is sometimes more destructive than bad things, I think. Especially belief is very strong. So if wrongly believe something, it's really, really bad. So almost in this world, all the religious fightings are, they believe that my one is the best. So that's why it's very destructive. And then verse 30. Hidden by the rising tide's wand, luminosity cannot be seen. So luminosity cannot seen because these culture or these is mainly vehicles or the tenant system or philosophical systems that buries our nature. Because once we could talk about, even in Buddhist, there's 9 yanas, each one has own idea of what nature should be. And this nature should be is a layer of the hidden thing, that hidden by rising tides of wands, luminosity cannot be seen. Luminosity is the Mahamudra, yeah? Observing wands and conceptually, one betray the point of actual samaya. So in a Dzogchen samaya, we have these 4 samayas sometimes. Particularly these 2 samaya is called meba and chalva. So meba means nothingness. Chalva means totally open. So these 2 are samaya. Samaya means commitment. If we make some commitment to do something, that part could be obstacle. Must do, yeah. Must do is maybe another thing. So that betrays you betrayed the point of actual samaya. Actual samaya should not have observing vows conceptually. In a mind without engagement and free of wanting anything, thoughts arise and subside on their own. So if you don't have a concept of adopting and discarding, then thoughts are just rise and subside on their own. Means we don't need to find antidote to discard our thoughts, like ripple on the water. So water is a ripple, or if you draw something on the water, it immediately kind of disappear. Neither focus on an object nor abiding anywhere. If you do not wander from the actual truth, the unimpaired samaya is a light in the darkness. So unimpaired samaya is the Mahamudra samaya. So samaya, if you have favoritism or wanting to do something or focus on particular things, and that is not Mahamudra samaya. How about now? What are you doing? Okay? Everyone's doing okay?
Genla,
Yes.
Naladriva Chikyu,
Oh, yeah.
Tuchinang Genla.
Yeah.
The question I had is actually about something that you mentioned, a little while back. You said while meditating, keep your mouth open.
Yes.
And I've heard that instruction before, but
Mm.
because I've been meditating for a while now, I tend to keep my mouth closed. And I'm trying, but I'd like to hear a little bit more on that instruction.
Okay. Yeah. This the instruction usually we even when we say the 7 posture of Virachana, that's what we usually do. Even there, it say your tip of your tongue attached to upper gum, of the, close to the teeth. It's naturally opens a little bit, but that's not really emphasized. So open your mouth there. And here we talk about this mainly the Dzogchen practice, and especially Tikchu practice, that everything should be relaxed, which means especially body. So no matter how much, or no matter how we relax, we still need to breathe. Most of us, someone else told me that when someone meditates, doesn't need to breathe. That no, don't laugh at them, but they are good people. Which one? Like fish? Tree? Like tree. Oh, yeah. I thought like fish. Yeah, for sure. But there, as gentle as possible, the breathe. And if you breathe through mouth, it's less effort. If you close your mouth, this air is kind of restricted. It's harder to breathe naturally. If you open your mouth, then breathe become gentle, natural. So that's why Dzogchen teachings emphasize this, particularly breathe through mouth. Doesn't necessarily mean should not breathe through nose, but it's saying that you need to slightly open your mouth. And
Okay.
while you're breathing, you don't need to pay attention to say whether I'm breathing through mouth or breathing through knows that we don't need to pay attention, but most of the time people forget to open their mouths. That just maybe helps in that way. Is that helpful?
Yes, yes. Tuchinangen.
Oh, so, see, if you learn Tibetan, it's, we can talk. There's
Rinpoche,
yes,
I have a question.
yes.
You were talking about shamatha vipassana not bringing about Mahamudra. I'm just wondering, in Vajrayana practice, if you're doing self visualization or you visualize the deity in front of you, can that obscure Mahamudra, or does it preclude Mahamudra, or how do you incorporate Mahamudra when doing that practice?
Yeah, the actual Mahamudra, what we are now particularly focusing on, Ganges Mahamudra, it's clear that any thoughts would interfere with the realization of Mahamudra. So even the deity visualization interferes. And particularly talking about the conduct, what we need to do is say how we treat our mind at this moment. It says, you can see in verse 9, the last line, say, without a single thought, which means we cannot visualize deity at this moment. However, that's not however, but that also matches Milarepa's saying that if you try to think or visualize something, then this non-dual wisdom will disappear. However, Mahamudra, in order to become a good practitioner, to realize Mahamudra, is depend totally on the practice, especially devotion. So that's why Mahamudra is a product of preliminary practice and main practice, Lama Yidam Khandro practice, and then also the 6 yogas of Naropa. And these all helps to cultivate ourselves to realize Mahamudra. It's sometimes hard to introduce both. If sometimes say the preliminary practice is good for us, then it seems like we are talking about, or the concepts are okay with meditating Mahamudra. It's not saying that in order to become a non-conceptual meditation stably kind of achieve is based on how much effort we put in a practice. So that's why it's important to have holistic practice. And then sometimes I myself think that one should not just meditate strictly into Mahamudra or Dzogchen practice. Do some sort of supplication, lineage supplication, Guru Yoga supplication, and of course the refuge bodhicitta are important, that's of course, and then have something that lead to the meditation, and after the meditation also think about the blessings of the lineage and teachings, and also think about sentient beings that both the devotion and compassion try to rise before the meditation and after the meditation. If not, if you just stare at your mind, you may see my nature, may not see my nature. Its habit becomes sort of empty feeling of habit, and then disconnected with maybe first family, then friend, then animal would be the last, yeah, that's for sure. But it's not good to have no feelings. Positive emotions is good. That's what we have, yeah. Including devotion, love, compassion, all these. If we don't have this, then our practice becomes sort of an empty vacuum. That's very interesting practice, maybe then. So, yeah, preliminary practice is very important, and visualize is very important. I want to say very important, but when and the moment we need to set everything aside to sit, that's important. We need to know where we need to stop, when we need to stop, when we need to start. We all know some people can talk, but cannot stop talking. Good to learn where to stop. Yeah, that's very important. Similarly, visualization is a very important practice, but we need to know where to stop. Yeah. And same thing, everything is important, but there is limits, and there is also good time to stop and good time to start something else. Okay, then we have this fifth category. What is that? Do you remember? Benefits.
Hello, benefits.
Yes, now we have benefits. The actual benefits come later, but here we have another benefits.
Benefits of understanding.
Yes, not only understanding. The view is understanding. Conduct is how you act toward these. Meditation is, we know, habituation. Samaya is what we should keep, what we should not keep, what we should avoid things, what we should adopt. So that's called samaya. And then payong. Doing that, what benefit we can get. That's we are good at, yeah. Everything's perfect these days. And what benefit I have? Okay, the benefit, fifth is a benefit. If free of any wish, you do not dwell in extremes. You will see the meaning of Buddha's teaching all without exception. If you heed this truth, you will be liberated from the prison of samsara. If you settle in it evenly, the evil of negativity and ignorance will be burned away. That it refers to as the torch of the teaching. So mainly, this is everything. And Mahamudra meditation and understanding of Mahamudra is very beneficial. That's kind of everyone. We know that's why we are here, and I think we don't really need to discuss much on that. Yeah, now we have, if you don't have time, or if you don't want to meditate Mahamudra, then that is a big loss, I think. That's what he is talking about. And that is the sixth one, sixth category. So which means sometimes people think, oh, yeah, I'm happy with my practice. I do meditation, shamatha, vipassana, mindfulness, and I don't really need to do Mahamudra meditation. Or I wanted to visualize my deities, and some deities are very, very beneficial. And for Astara, she can remove all kind of pharaohs or the fears, 8 fears, poisons, and thieves, and so forth. So I'm happy with that. If we want to satisfy at that level, here it's saying that we should not stop there. We should kind of pursue Mahamudra meditation. Even we maybe fully don't understand what Mahamudra is, but still have to have some perseverance to pursue Mahamudra meditation. That's why we are learning the view of Mahamudra, what conduct should be act, or meditation, what kind of meditation should be done, and what kind of samaya we should uphold.
Kenpola,
Yes,
I have a question, sir. Thank you.
yes.
In this verse 14 in the translation that Ina did, it says, if you settle in it evenly.
Yeah.
Now, by evenly, does that mean evenly insofar as the co-emergence, approaching it with the understanding of emptiness and compassion, and then engaging in the practice of Mahamudra per se? Is this what evenly is talking about?
The evenly is nyamshak in a Tibetan is usually shamatha. You see that the translations, we have another, maybe not the translations, but you can look at the Tibetan term is nyamsha. Nyamsha means more meditation equipoise, yeah, nyamsha. That's called nyamsha. Nyam is equally, shak means settled. So settled equally or rest equally, that's called nyamsha. And of course, yes, turn there means that in a this meaning means the Mahamudra, the core emergence of Mahamudra. If you settled in equally in this meaning or this subject, then everything, what we say, evenly or equally. Yeah, nyam is even or equally. Yes, that is settling in equally on this meaning, evenly in this meaning, Mahamudra, which means meditate on the Mahamudra.
Thank you.
Thank you. And so we do this, and then we will have practice tomorrow. So where we are now, it says that foolish people, we don't want to be foolish people, yeah? We are smart and we know what we are doing and exactly. Foolish people who lack interest in this truth are forever being carried off by torrents of samsara, and their misery will be never end. How sad that they experience the intolerable pain of evil state, not a evil. So this is big loss if we don't practice Mahamudra. But we are fortunate, yeah, as that is important. Sometimes we need to think we are fortunate ones. Be happy. Samsara is not that bad. Yeah. Yeah. So we have Mahamudra. Now use Mahamudra. That's Mahamudra has no ownership, yeah? Anyone can use. There's no copyrights for Mahamudra. Okay, if you have one question, we do that, and then we do dedication. And then tomorrow we will start with practice. And so far, we've gone through main practice. That has 7 subcategories. What those are? First, view. Second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, sixth. If we don't do, yeah.
Fault on not meditating on Mahamudra.
Yeah, if we don't meditate on Mahamudra, that's our loss. Yeah. Okay. You have last one? Okay. Oh, 7 is practice. It's coming tomorrow. Okay. Okay. Jikten Sungwon's dedication in English.
Page 13. 13. 1-3. Glorious, holy, venerable, precious, kind root and lineage lamas, divine assembly of yidams and assemblies of Buddhas, Bodhisattvas, heroes and heroines, yogini and assembly of dakinis, dwelling in the 10 directions, please heed me. By the power of this vast root of virtue, may I benefit all sentient beings through my body, speech, and mind. May the afflictions of desire, hatred, ignorance, pride, and jealousy not arise within my mind. May thoughts of fame, reputation, wealth, honor, and concern for this life not arise for even a moment. May my mind stream be moistened by loving kindness, compassion, and bodhicitta. And through that, may I become a spiritual master with good qualities equal to the infinity of space. May I gain the supreme attainment of Mahamudra in this very life. Even at death, may the torment of suffering not arise. May I not die with negative thoughts. May I not die confused by wrong view. May I not experience an untimely death. May I die joyfully and happily in the great luminosity of the mind as such, and in the pervasive clarity of Dharmata. May I, in any case, gain the supreme attainment of Mahamudra at the time of death or in the bardo.
where is that? 1 minute. Okay, 26, page 26. 西呀跟随跟前去结结，等着你来往东这公吧，人间八戒等把心的话，一种多上根本真就结。
May the teaching of the great Drikungpa Ratna Shri, Master of Interdependence, omniscient Lord of Dharma, who has seen all noble things, be upheld through teachings and practice, through hearing, reflecting, and meditating, until the end of existence.
Okay. Thank you, everyone online.
Thank you, Khenpo-la. Thank you, Khenpo-la.
Thank you,
Thank you, Kampola.
Amanda. Thank you, Tashi.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Chicago Sangha.
Gracias,
Sophie.
Thank you, Rinpoche.
Thank you.
Okay. Ok. Ok, gracias, Sophie.